There's this huge, quiet transformation happening all around us. It's not about the latest gadget or some political headline. Nope, it's about us, people. Our entire global population is getting older, and this massive shift is changing our world in ways we're just starting to wrap our heads around.
Okay, to really get this, check out this number. By the year 2050, the number of people on this planet aged 60 and over is set to double. We're talking 2.1 times a billion people. Wow. This isn't some far-off sci-fi thing. It's happening right now.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about what a graying planet actually is. Then we'll get into the two main reasons it's happening. After that, we'll dive into the huge ripple effects this has on all of us. And finally, we'll look at some of the potential solutions on the table.
All right, first up, a graying planet. Let's get right into what we actually mean when we say that.
So, population aging is basically when the average age of a country's population goes up. And it's a big deal, one of the 4 huge demographic megatrends happening globally. It's all driven by 2 simple things. We're having fewer kids, and we're living longer.
So what's really behind this? What are the engines driving this massive global shift? Let's take a look. It really boils down to this simple 2-part story. On one hand, you've got falling birth rates in many parts of the world. And on the other hand, thanks to amazing advances in medicine and nutrition, we're living longer, healthier lives than ever before. You put those 2 powerful trends together, and what do you get? An older population. It's pretty much inevitable. Okay, so we know what's happening and why. But the big question is, so what? What does this actually mean for our economies, for our societies, for our everyday lives? This is where it gets really interesting. Well, the most immediate hits are economic. Think about it. An older population means a smaller share of people are actually working. That shrinks your labor force, which then pushes up something called the dependency ratio. That's the number of non-workers, like retirees, who depend on the workers. With fewer workers, wages might go up, but here's the kicker. You've got fewer people paying income tax to fund everything. In this quote right here, it just nails the central problem for governments. It's a total double whammy. They have to spend more on things like pensions and healthcare for a growing elderly population, but the tax money they need to pay for it all is shrinking. I mean, just look at the UK. Their spending on pensions as a part of their economy has already quadrupled since 1950. This chart is a fantastic way to actually see the change. It's called a population pyramid. See, in a really young country, it would look like a true pyramid, wide at the bottom with lots of kids. But here, in a more developed country, it's more like a bell, or even a column. That bulge in the middle and at the top, that's the signature of an aging population, right there. But hey, it's not all about economic headaches. This massive shift is also creating brand new opportunities. A bigger elderly population means a growing market for all kinds of things designed for them. We're talking everything from healthcare and retirement communities to travel and hobbies. People call it the silver economy, and it's a huge multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. So faced with all this, what are countries and policymakers supposed to do? Let's switch gears and talk about the actual strategies being looked at to handle this new reality. Broadly speaking, the solutions fall into 4 main buckets, and we're going to walk through them. First, getting people to work longer. Second, bringing in workers from other countries. Third, using technology to fill the gaps. And fourth, changing how we all save for retirement. Okay, solution number 1 is the most direct approach. Just raise the retirement age. The logic is simple, right? If we're all living longer, healthier lives, it makes sense that we can work for a few more years, paying taxes and contributing to the economy. The British government, for example, is already planning to bump its retirement age up to 68. But, and this is a really important but, this solution isn't felt the same way by everyone. As this quote points out, asking someone who does manual labor to keep a physically demanding job into their late 60s is a very different ask than it is for someone with a desk job. It brings up some serious questions about fairness. Another tool in the toolbox is immigration. Most immigrants tend to be young and of working age, so they can give the labor force a direct boost, which helps balance out that dependency ratio and grow the tax base. Of course, this can be a really politically charged topic, sparking all sorts of debates. And this is where technology steps in. To deal with having fewer workers, countries like Japan are really leaning into automation. And we're not just talking about robots in factories. Think about the self-checkout at the grocery store, ATMs, or even these automated ordering machines. It's all about using tech to keep things running smoothly with fewer people. And the last major piece of the puzzle is all about the money. To take some of the pressure off government-funded pensions, many places are putting compulsory savings plans in place. A great example is Hong Kong's Mandatory Provident Fund, the MPF, which basically requires both you and your employer to put money into a private retirement fund for your future.
So that brings us to the final crucial question. Look, the fact that we're living longer, healthier lives is an amazing achievement. It's a win for humanity. But as we've seen, it creates some really complex challenges. The real test for all of us moving forward is figuring out how we adapt our world to meet these new economic needs while making sure we're being fair and supportive to every single generation.